might actually try and do the sneaky. Let's go to Paddy's Markets, like have a look at some fake sneakers.
Hey, what up and welcome to another episode of Creased. And there's a pretty bold statement in terms of the title, but I feel like I'm correct on this, and you can happily debate me in the comments, but let's get straight into it. But before we do that, let's do a little bit of shopping, man, because I enjoy it. So during SneakerCon, I went to go from SneakerCon to the car to get a few pairs of shoes, right? Because I was going to start trading and try and barter and do that type of stuff. I essentially took a wrong turn and ended up at Paddy's Markets. And I was like, I ain't been to Paddy's Markets in years, absolute years since I was a kid. It was always the first point of reference I would go to when I'd catch a train into the city. But I ain't been there in years. And I remember maybe about 10 years ago, there was some crazy raid where they raided all these stores for counterfeit products, right? Which is insane because that is 90% of what's happening at the markets. But I went in there, and I remembered I got my GoPro too, so I wanted to kind of do a speed run in there. Then as soon as I've turned it on, I realized it's low battery. I was like, damn, we just gotta go real quick and see what we can see. But it wasn't easy to find anywhere that sold sneakers.
I might actually try and do the sneaky shit in between SneakerCon. Let's go to Paddy's Markets, have a look at some fake sneakers. I got my black light on me. See if they get the shits me putting it on. It's gonna be fun.
Now, while this is going 2.5 times speed, so it doesn't take forever, I will do a little bit of narration here. What's crazy is we're walking through, trying to find sneakers. You can find Nike, Jordan, everything, Dolce & Gabbana. Had some fake bands in there. Polo. So many workwear stores, so many cheap kids toys, sunglasses, jerseys, hats. New Era could have a field day and rating in what they're old from this. Marvel, everything like that. So many jerseys, everything, but I wasn't finding sneakers. There was also so many spots where they were harassing you to get a massage. One dude I actually saw was getting a massage. A public display massage. That's wild to me. All these electronic stores and everything like that. Fix your phone, things like this. I haven't been to one of these in years, so for me, it's a bit of an eye-opener knowing now as an adult that all of this being in the open air is insane. Because everything's counterfeit. Those Adidas t-shirts, Fume shorts, you got anti-social, off-white, everything. Messy, so many messy jerseys. Then you got handbags, all that stuff. I don't really care about that myself. FA Cup, F1 stuff. The Spider-Man mask I almost bought, to be honest. And this store here was really dope. I don't know if these are fake or not. They were saying they were properly printed and legit, but Slipknot, Korn, Slayer, Motorhead, Wu-Tang, Eminem, whatever you wanted. I actually came back on the second trip and bought a Korn tee from there. More of the same, I kinda wanna put the audio on there and everything. You got Stone Island, Versace, Polo, Lacoste, everything, but there's so many spots where it's just a random open store with a bed or a chair, and they're like, come get massage, do you want massage? Polo hats there, shit that really doesn't need to be fake. I just saw there. More sunglasses. But I'm essentially walking around everywhere looking for a sneaker store because, like, this here, like, traditional dress, there's more open air massage. Like, that shit's wild. Anytime I went past any one of them, they were asking me to have a massage. What's crazy about Paddy's Markets is back in the day, I knew every inch of this place when I was a kid because it would always be that first point of reference. But now, I'm so lost, and it feels like it's only about half full. There's so many stalls that aren't there. Like, you'll see in a minute, there was only one sneaker store, and I went back there again maybe a couple weekends ago. Maybe a couple weekends later, I can't remember, but yeah, like, you see so many stalls that are essentially empty. I think they're going through a transition. That was a big thing back in the day. You'd always find, like, weapons and shit that you could basically buy as a kid, but so much Australiana type of memorabilia, and
$120. How much? Oh yeah. These are sitting everywhere. Well, both of those, you can barely tell. They're nice. With the pink laces, crazy. What's that, 80 bucks? Is that kid sizes or? Oh, okay. How much are the Yeezys? 70. Cheap. Diamond mids. I was filming and like showing the fake lines and everything. Then homie started coming out and I saw the sign, oh, don't touch, won't touch. He's like, oh no, you can touch. 120 for Travis's that did not look that bad, I'm gonna be honest. 70 bucks for UNC3s that look fucking terrible. Mids, 312s, why are they faking those? Like, they're sitting. You'll probably get a real one for that price. That's crazy.
When, as it happened, there was only one store that I could see. There was plenty of stores selling like fake Polo, Lacoste, Gant, Ralph Lauren, Tommy Hilfiger, Gucci, Versace, all that type of stuff. Nike, Adidas, t-shirts, Jordan. Like, in terms of clothing, hats, thousands and thousands of stalls. But in terms of shoes, there was really only one there. And I was kind of like getting the black light out and doing it and trying to be sneaky and all this. And then all of a sudden he came out behind her. I'm like, oh, you don't want me to touch these? And he's like, no, you can touch them. I'm like, okay. I don't think he worked out what I was doing with the torch because I kind of held it like this, so it was kind of covered up. And I stopped filming and everything. And he's like, oh, I was like, no worries, I'll just keep having a look. And then he kind of was following me as I was doing that. So I couldn't do as much. But I was making sneaky little comments going, damn, they've gotten a lot better over the years, haven't they? And he was just like, And then towards the end, he just didn't give a shit and just went in the back. But watching the footage back, I was like, yo, they got like the brand new SB4s. As much as they had like Travises for 120 that didn't look too bad, I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to admit they weren't that bad looking for 120. They had some Jordan 3 UNCs that were absolutely terrible looking. They had like shit that is sitting on shelves on discount they'd faked. So I don't see like the broad scope of what they had. There was about, I want to say like 10 or so pairs on that wall that I actually have. This was the craziest one because the veins were kind of like this weird like gradient fuse type thing, and you could tell straight away. They just weren't the real TN. You could tell straight away. Apart from like the super fake ones, there was different price points too. I think Yeezys were like 40 bucks. A pair of Yeezys, you're not going to be able, just from on feet, you're not going to be able to tell unless like you fucking, unless you're a super Yeezy nerd, you're never going to be able to tell. But like a pair of Jordan 1s, Jordan 3s, that sort of thing, pretty easy. 10s, pretty easy to spot. Some of those dunks were just insanely terrible, but looking back, I was like, man, why didn't I try anything on? I should have tried it on, because months and months ago we did a thing where basically I got you guys to dictate what I would do for an episode, like what I would try on, whatever. One of the things was fake shoes, and I didn't want to buy any, but this was a way to do it. Months and months later, we have done it. So I decided to go back, maybe a weekend or so ago. But yeah, here's another little speed run, I guess. Now, I filmed a bit more because he wasn't bothering me, because he was bothering other people, but there were like other people looking at shoes. And like both times I've been there now, whether or not he remembers me, I don't know. First time I had my Game Royals on. Second time I want to say I had like some Jordan 3s on. So like I've only come there wearing like crazy sneakers, so whether he knows what I'm doing, but I'm filming the whole time. And because he's dealing with customers, I can film a bit more. And then like when he does come out, I see the SB4 in the blue and I say, hey, do you have these in a 10? He's like, of course. And he's like, gets me to try them on. And I was with someone and I kind of want to sneaky like, you film this while I'm doing it. But then like, yeah, he was just a bit weird. I don't know. But I did try them on. They weren't bad, like honestly, they weren't that bad on feet. They weren't crazy uncomfortable. Now obviously I just stood in them, I didn't go for a walk in them, so rubbish materials, they crease weird, they hit you on different points, everything like that. I don't know if anything of that would have happened. Usually too, what used to happen with fakes was like, or reps, whatever you want to call them, they'd have like a paper thin insole too. I feel like the insoles have gotten better. And there's always been like different grades of fakes too, so. But yeah, I did try them on, they weren't too bad. I was like, let me think about it. You know, do the old throw off. He's like, do you like these? I'm like, yeah, I think I do, but let me think about it. One of the biggest giveaways with them was like, the tag was already starting to bleed red, you know, through the actual white on the tongue. A myriad of other things too, and you know, you get the black light on and you'll see everything. But I did this and I kind of wanted to have like a little just speed run at Paddy's Markets and just show like fake sneakers and all this type of stuff, because people seem to tune in when we do that, when I showcase how to legit check and everything like that. But throwback to the weekend just gone, and I was at my local shopping centre, and I just see so many kids wearing Travises. And I hit up one dude, and he's like, yeah, I paid $800 for these, for the Mocha Highs. And I'm like, that's pretty cheap. Oh, okay. And then the next dude, I was like, oh, damn, you got the Fragment Lows on? I was like, are they real though? He goes, nah. He's like, oh, okay. I was like, he's like, but they're made in the same place where the other ones are made. Really? Back in the day, when like, let's say everyone wasn't savvy with the internet, like a lot of people, I would come across these websites that had fake sneakers and everything like that, and colorways that I never even heard of, seen anything before in 3s and 4s, because like, you gotta remember, early to mid 2000s, like, information wasn't so readily available. Everyone wasn't so well versed on things. So you're seeing all these things in colorways that I didn't even know were actual colorways, like the green glows. Like this, that has marks all over it. I have to clean these. But yeah, my green glow 4s. Like, I saw this colorway like years back then on one of these sites. I didn't even know if it was a real colorway or not. And I thought, the little hustler in me was like, alright, I'm gonna essentially like print out and make a catalog for these sneakers, and I'm gonna do that type of thing and be the plug, be the hookup, right? And when people were like telling me about it and all this, like when they were like, damn, this is crazy, you can get all this, I'm like, yeah, I can get all this. And essentially what I was doing was just like drop shipping before drop shipping was a thing. And someone hit me up and they're like, are these fake? And I'm like, nah, these ain't fake. They're like, they're made in the same factory, they just make extras. And that's some shit that I just came up with at the time. Now, not to say I'm the first person to ever make that up, I'm just saying at the time, that's something I made up within my little hustle. Now, this hustle died quickly. I never actually did any of it. But I fast forward to like now, people are always saying, no, they're made in the same factory, same materials, everything like that. It's just, you know, it's on the down low. We throw around that term, unauthorized authentic. Here's the thing about an unauthorized authentic. Why is it that the box is always like horrible, right? If it's in the same factory that's making Nikes, that's making Jordans, everything, you would have an abundance of materials and boxes and everything like this. Maybe the boxes are a different factory, alright, we'll let that slide. But if we're talking about the shoes, the actual Jordans, the Nikes, whatever, why is it the materials are so rubbish? Like, shouldn't it just be the same materials, the same everything like that? No? It's not, because they've only allocated a certain amount of materials for the actual Nike and Jordan products, and they're doing this to be able to make some extra money. Alright, let's say that. Then why is it when you get a black light out, you see the guidelines, so they actually know how to cut the shoes? Like, they would already have the guidelines, whether it be pre-programmed or whatever. Like, I've seen the machines and everything, I've showcased it on other things, how they do it. All that, like, the more you add this up, it just doesn't make sense, does it? Unauthorized authentic. They're fake. Like, I'm cool if you want to call them reps. If you want to call them reps, right? We'll call them reps. It sounds a bit nicer than fakes, but they're fake, my guy. They're not real. They're a real shoe, but they're not as comfortable, they don't wear as well, they smell funky, sizing's never correct. Like, all these things, if they were unauthorized authentic, wouldn't happen. Like, I'm steel manning here with a couple of these things, but like, the more you listen, it's ridiculous, yeah? It is the biggest lie ever told in sneakers, and there are countless accounts that hit me up daily about being a Chinese wholesaler of sneakers. If I go into my message requests right now, I guarantee I see them.
A few moments later.
I would like Hello, I would like to recommend you a very good merchant. Their products are very delicate, exceptionally good quality, at a very low price. You no longer need to spend very high prices to order luxury goods. That one's in a language I can't understand. Here we go, shoes. Hello friend, I am a Chinese supplier. I have a professional team, efficient shipping, best after sales service, economic price, no customs problems. I have shoes, bags, clothing, blah blah blah. Hi, I am a supplier from China. And it keeps going. This is a shoe one. More shoes. Every day. Now, I have no doubt that you can get customs. You can get better quality fakes. But unauthorized authentic is not legit. There's no such thing. I've heard like the whole 1-to-1 rep. I am yet to see anything that is 1-to-1. Like I said, there are better quality fakes, but there are also really bad fakes, like we saw at Paddy's. Like we saw different qualities of fakes just at Paddy's, to be honest, and that's only one store. I want to try next time I'm in Sydney and go out to Park Lee markets, because I ain't been there in a minute. Like the last time I was there, I bought the game DVD, Stop Snitching, Stop Lying, from a bootlegger. Bring back the bootleggers, bro. But look, I'm going to put it out there right now that if you have got a fake pair of shoes that you believe is a unauthorized authentic or a 1-to-1 rep of any pair that I have, show me. I'll run it through a black light. I'll check it between my other one to see if it is the 1-to-1. And we'll see. We'll do it all on video. I'm happy to be proven wrong. But I know that I'm right. I know that these aren't just the same factories doing whatever. And somehow they're with different materials, a different box, a different whatever. Completely different smell. But I'm happy to be proven wrong. Let me know in the comments what you think. What you thinking about all of this? Am I bugging? Am I hating? Like, I'll be honest, like, when I saw the young kid, I kind of, like, I didn't mean to, like, go in on him and say, like, I didn't go in on him. It sounds like I bullied him, but I said he was, oh no, they're unauthorized authentic. He was like, yeah, this is all this. I said, bro, that's no such thing. And he said, no, it is us. And that's where I thought of the line, it's the biggest lie in sneakers. And I said, if you get a black light from BCF, run them over, there'll be a bunch of guidelines that aren't on an authentic pair. And then he's just like, oh, and we're at Foot Locker, and he's like, oh, what are you looking to get? And just kind of deflected. I think the poor kid was heartbroken, but there is no, like, I don't really care for fake sneakers myself. If you want to wear them, like, that's your thing. Like, some people just like the look of a shoe. That's cool. No hate. I think where people are trying to sell them as an authentic pair, terrible. People that, again, like, have this unauthorized authentic narrative and, like, trying to trick kids, it's not cool, bro. But you're just like a young kid and you don't want to spend fucking $2,000 on a pair of shoes. Why should you have to? Go to Paddy's and get them for 120 bucks. They didn't look too bad, I'll be honest. Like, I'm obviously not comparing them side by side, but they don't look too bad for 120 bucks. But let me know in the comments what you think. I'm not gonna buy a pair. I'm just not gonna get a pair, even if it's like a pair that I already have. I thought about wearing a pair that I had to compare it side by side, but I don't want to do it to the guy. I'm just curious, like, they literally smashed up these joints in like a Dawn Raid type joint, and it was all over. There's one guy just popped up back again, so we'll see. But this has been another episode of Creased. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. We'll be back twice a week. Peace. Take me up on the challenge. Bring your 1-to-1 fakes, your unauthorized authentic. I bet you can't.
Fruit markets. I never came to this park as a kid. I only ever went to like the fake stuff, but I'm more keen on this with the cost of living at the moment. this was a little speed run through the markets. My GoPro died, it only had like 5% battery, so the amount that we got was crazy, and the rest we did with the phone. Gonna go to the car park now, back to SneakerCon, but this will probably be its own video. If I can figure out how to get out of here. I used to know this place like the back of my hand. Now, not so much. Pretty sure I gotta go left. I think I found an exit. We're good. It's crazy, like a couple of years ago they raided like all the fake shit, even though that's primarily what these markets are. Now there's only like one shoe shop. Plenty of clothing. Jerseys, designer, everything.